I just gotta spit it out, right? I've been having a hard time articulating what the fuck I'm feeling and experiencing. And I'm just gonna try. I'm just gonna try. It doesn't matter. I just have to try. The energy has been so intense. And I mean, it's been vivid. It's been volatile, palpable. I'm searching for words. I feel that information is coming, and it is information that is just being directly absorbed, and it's bypassing the mind. And so the understanding as it happens is really not intellectual, it's not mental. It's clear, but it's clear in terms of feeling, in terms of pure energy. And it's becoming harder and harder to put what I'm feeling into words. And to an extent, I don't know that I even want to, because it feels like I can only misinterpret them doing that. Or at least that there is a great potential for misinterpretation. There's so much frustration. Maybe you're also feeling this. I imagine you're also feeling this. I don't know how anybody couldn't be feeling this. I think it's everywhere. It is collective. It's not just individual. If you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling like you've been banging your head against a wall, there's some kind of dead end here. Fed up, done. Feeling like we've been over this again and again. There's this sort of beating a dead horse aspect to it. It's just something is finished, and I don't even mean anything specific in the conditions, although that doesn't mean it can't also relate to that. It's a bigger feeling. It's more than just individual conditions. It's the entire, it's not just words on a page, it's not just the page that we're on, it's the entire book. We're done with this book. Everything containing all of these conditions. It's more than just a change of scenery that's desired. It's a fundamental shift in the fabric. There's this deep sense of dissatisfaction. And I don't believe it's just pain body. I don't believe it's just, well, this is what ego does. It's forever dissatisfied. I recognize that element. But I don't think that's a mistake. This is what's so hard to put into words. I don't see that dissatisfaction and despair and the hopelessness and the rage and the grief and all of this stuff. There's deep grief. There is grief in all of this. I don't see it as a problem. I don't see it as a mistake. I see that power is there. And I don't mean the power to be motivated into action by these things. This is deeper than conditions and conditional interaction. I am not talking about reactivity. I mean, our greatest power is in being here and being real with what's here. And when what is here is grief and sadness and listlessness and dissatisfaction and all of this, when what's here is pain, our power is in being real about pain. Refusing to move away from it, refusing to lie about it, refusing to pretend that it isn't here. It's not a problem, it's not wrong, it's not incorrect. It is present. It is real. I believe there is tremendous power in acknowledging the presence of pain while simultaneously acknowledging that its presence is not incorrect. That this is where we want to be, feeling this. Not because it's a punishment, not because it's a test. It is neither of those things. Because it is where we are. And when we stay where we are, and where we are feels like a dead end, our continued presence there becomes the powder keg that is able to blow shit up in such a surreal, metaphysical sense that we create new potentials, truly new. We burst forth into spaces that truly have not been and could not have been imagined yet. We create the unimaginable. How powerful does that sound? Does that feel? To create beyond imagination, beyond what can even be dreamed, really. To call that into place, into being. And it happens with pure feeling. And that feeling is frustration. But it's an acceptance of frustration. It's a refusal to push it away, to try to run from it. Being here with frustration, with this feeling of fire hose flooding into a space that cannot contain it. How do we burst forth from a place that is stuck with explosiveness? How do we generate explosiveness? The buildup of pressure that comes from being stuck. From being where we are and allowing where we are to feel this way. It's not incorrect. It's not a mistake. Nothing about this is a mistake. It's not something to go and try to fix. It isn't something you're doing wrong. Feeling this pressure, this weight, this frustration. It is by design. And it's not to make you move. That's the compulsion. you to move to try to get away from this. But then you move and you find that it follows you, that the walls are closing in. Wherever you go, there's that feeling. It's not a flaw. This is not a disease, a disorder. You are not lost, you are learning. We are becoming our own guides. Which means that the step in front of us is not lit. There is no path. There is not a clearing. There's nowhere to go specifically. There are no answers because life is not a mystery to be solved, nor is it a test to be passed. There are no answers. Because the only question, as far as I can hear it, is, are you ready to be real? Are you ready? And you decide. Yes or no. But being ready doesn't mean feeling ready. I think it means feeling fed up with the fakeness. So fed up that all of the fear that led us to being fake just doesn't motivate that anymore. It's an explosion into truth. The truth is required for creation. True creation. All of the falsehood that we've built. It has to crumble. But it was never real to begin with. It's not a loss of anything, except perhaps armor. The armor that we feel falsehood is, it's not protecting us from anything. It's keeping us dead. The only armor the mind has against pain is numbness. Is pretending, is creating a false self that doesn't feel. That's the opposite of you. A false self that doesn't feel in a false world that doesn't feel, that isn't affecting or affected, where, nothing matters because nothing is felt. And so, of course, in that false world, where everything is a cold, dead object, you become a cold, dead object. is screaming to be awake. Your nerves are compressed. Your very being is compressed. That doesn't mean it goes away. You haven't died. You've just been anesthetized. Suppressed. And the world hasn't died either. Because even numbness is a feeling. And you can feel the tension of it. You can feel that it's resistance. You can feel that numbness is the suppressing of something that would naturally be flowing. And that flowing doesn't take any effort. That flowing is the natural state. On is the natural state. It's not even a state. It's just what is. And it's being suppressed, held back, made numb. And that numbness cannot be sustained because it is a form of resistance. We can't stay in the closet. You can't suppress the truth. Eventually, it bursts forth. And what is bursting forth, the truth that we are being forced to acknowledge because we simply cannot contain it anymore, is that we are alive. We are living. We are feeling. Life is affecting us. We are affected. And if we are alive, life is alive. Everything is. We are either living or dead. Are you living or dead? Are you real or not? There is only one answer. One of these is true. The other one is false. We get to try the falsehood on. We get to find out that it's false by attempting to carry it as truth and seeing that we cannot do so. Because dead is a lie. And it is a lie that we cannot carry any longer. Dead is not what we are. Dead is not what the world is. Dead is not what life is. Life is living. And that means everything. Because it's congruent. Reality cannot have disparate parts. It cannot be incongruent. There cannot be parts that are living and parts that are dead. You see? It's reality. It's one thing. It's living or it's not. You are living or you are not. Death is the experience of pretending that you are not living. And it's what we have created this entire illusory world from. This foundation. The pretense of being unalive, unfeeling, uncaring, unloving, unconscious. Pretending that we are not that. And we can't pretend anymore. The pain of pretending to be dead in a dead world. Because you cannot be dead in a living world. That doesn't make any sense. Nor can you be living in a dead world. It's one or it's the other. What is dead cannot create what is living, and what is living cannot create what is dead. This does not come from that. It cannot come from that. Furthermore, if the world were dead, nothing would come from it. It would be stagnant. It would be still. There would be no motion, no growth, no life happening. Is that what this looks like? If everything were dead, there would be no feeling. We wouldn't be having this conversation. There would be no questioning of this. The very existence of pain points to aliveness. The presence of pain is the screaming of feeling saying, I am here. I am happening. I am real. Stop denying this. Stop denying the truth of yourself. The truth of reality is that all is alive. And alive is not just for a little while. Alive is not happens and then stops. Living is now. And that now is without end. Living does not change into unliving. This is essential truth. This is core truth. We are in the closet about it because it is something about ourselves that is undeniable, and yet we have tried to deny it. That's why it's a closet. That's why we have wrapped ourselves in fear. And why that fear has kept us hidden. You don't hide away a truth that is not something essential to you. If it were something that you could change, then it would change. The closet is there because you cannot change this truth. The closet is your attempt to try, to pretend that this truth isn't true, that this fundamental, essential nature of your being isn't so. If you could change it, it would have changed. Living is something about you that cannot be altered. I know now that I am not dead. I know because I have tried. And my beating, bleeding heart could not stand the pain of that pretense. It could not restrain itself from movement. It could not lie in that tomb, holding its breath indefinitely. At some point, I have to breathe. The game is up. We are not dead. The world is not machine. It is living. And what it means to be alive is to be aware of the nature of yourself as this. Living. Are you living or are you dead? Are you real or are you not? That's the only question. That is the only thing to answer. And the answer to that question is pointed to by all reality. Everything that exists, every thought, every feeling, every experience, holds one meaning. And it is not a meaning that is spoken in words. It is not information that leads to a definition of something. They are all speaking the same thing. But it is spoken energetically, and it is that which is demonstrated that they are transmitting. Truth is self-evident. It's not explained. It's not justified. It is simply the presence of itself, standing there naked, asking you to look. What do you see? What is everything showing you? It's all pointing to one thing. You're feeling. You're experiencing. Your consciousness, your awareness, everything is pointing towards that. This is the only thing to realize. We are undergoing the same transformation that all of life itself has and will. The same experience that led to what we know as the Big Bang. The full realization of self. What am I? I am. I am real. I am here. I am living. The full implications of that which cannot be put into words. We have tried to be other than this. We have tried not to be. We have tried to say, I am not. But we are realizing that there must be one present who is, in order to even speak those words, in order to even carry that pretense forward. We cannot pretend anymore. We cannot deny the reality of ourselves. And the reality of ourselves is, it is reality. It is inseparable. Your feeling is reality. Everything that exists, exists. Can you feel the energetic weight of that word? Existing. Being. Real. Feeling. Living. It is not something that turns off. We can pretend that it does. But even in our pretending, there must be one alive experiencing that. There must be one living to pretend that they are not living. We have tried. It turns out even in death there is experience. And that pointing, the pointing of that experiencing, is angled back towards the truth of aliveness. There is no not aliveness. Everything is alive. Everything is living in perpetuity. Your being is unending. It cannot end. Do you see? And there is deep security and peace and satisfaction in this realization, but it is not the annihilation of painful emotions. It's not the annihilation of anything. It is total integration. It is awareness, acceptance that everything which exists is valued. All of it is valued, all of it is correct. It is perfect as it is. So there is no more running from frustration, no more seeking to change dissatisfaction. There is an awareness that if dissatisfaction is present, this is good. If frustration is present, this is good. All of it is pointing to the aliveness of reality, and that is truly the only news, and it is very, very good news. Nothing else is needed to be interpreted. There is more movement than just this. But it is organic, it is natural, it does not need controlling, dictating. You can trust it. It is happening. And while it is happening, be present and celebrate the aliveness of yourself in this experience. You are present in the unfolding. There is always more. Nothing is the last thing to happen. Nothing is the last thing that you will be present for. You are always here. There is always more. So it is safe to be present in totality with feelings of frustration, with feelings of desperation, of despair, of hopelessness, of I cannot take this any longer. It is safe to stop resisting those feelings, to sit down and be fully present with them. And then you're not carrying them somewhere. They're not a burden weighing upon you because you're trying to change them. You're trying to lug them into some new scenery where they'll be different. You're letting them be a part of the landscape in which you are currently present. You are letting them point to the reality, which is the aliveness of yourself. All of this is good news. There is a lit fuse energetically. The last thing I want to say, because I do need to go, and it's also fucking hot in this car, is that choosing to see clearly what is present. That honesty is the source of creative power. And when feelings of frustration are present, and we are honest about that, and we do not move from them, the desire which is born from this which shines clearly in the light of truth, our honesty, the combination of absolute truth from which clear, pure desire is born without trying, without invention, without imagining. It simply emerges from this place. True desire emerges from absolute honesty in viewing and experiencing what is. And that true desire is the power which creates worlds. This is a potency, the size of which, the intensity of which cannot be accurately described in terms that you are familiar with. We could talk about multitudes of atomic bombs, and that would give an idea. The pure desire that is born from the willingness to be honest with what is present and not look away from it. That is true creative power. That is from which all real potential, new potential, is born and explodes forth from. This is a lit fuse. If you feel like you're in a powder keg, it's because you are in one. You are the keg. Your fuse is lit by your willingness to see clearly what is and not turn away from it. Keep looking. Keep seeing. Keep feeling. Do not move away from the pressure. You're not alone in this. You are supported. You can receive the support that is here for you now, available for you in this. All that is applauding you in this. It's here. You don't have to do this alone. You're not really doing anything. You are experiencing. But we implore you, please, do not look away from this. You are ready. This is the time. It is happening now. All that is needed is to be where you are and to choose to admit to the reality of yourself, the presence of what is felt, to be honest about it. And you do not have to shout it from rooftops. You do not have to share it with a single other soul. It can be a truth that is solely yours to witness, although nothing is witnessed alone. Be here. Be real. That is all that is required, and it is all that is wanted. And it takes no effort. It is putting down the burden of illusion. It is letting go of the effort of lying. That is all. So it is. I love you. Take it easy.